Curious what type of character to start with?
Huh?
I get it. There is a lot of different options, and honestly, Ultima Online Outlands can seem overwhelming at first. You may be trying to save up for different skill balls, skill scrolls, and other things like that in order to get your skills up to 120, and don't forget the mastery chains and links and all that. Which, by the way, if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, make sure you check out this video first, as it will go over all the different player progression power systems here on UO Outlands. But with that, guys, today what we're going to talk about is actually 3 different starter templates that you only need 700 skill and are great right out the boot. So guys, sit back, grab yourself a beer, let's talk about it. To start off, the ever-popular Bard Dexer. This is probably the most popular one due to its ability to pacify monsters out of their aggro range, making you take little to no damage. If you're diving deep into a dungeon with friends, you also give buffs to your fellow party members. The template is as follows. 100 Peacemaking. This will give us and our party members a much needed accuracy bonus when you use this peacemaking skill on the ground nearby. Also, this is the barding skill that will cause the monsters to stare at you in a gaze as you launch your assault when used on creatures. If you're feeling advanced, you could also do provocation, and that will increase the damage dealt for the buff, and you can have monsters attack one another. But if you're new, I'd strongly suggest peacemaking. 100 Disordinance. Similar to other bard buffs, you can use this skill on the ground to give yourself and others a buff. This will reduce the damage taken from creatures by a substantial amount. When used on a creature, this will increase the damage dealt to the creature, and they will deal less damage as well. 100 Tactics for damage with our weapon skill. 100 Musicianship, because you can't do barding skills without musicianship. 100 Tracking. This has multiple uses. The first one is it serves as a PK radar. By setting your hunting to red characters, you now have a radar that will go off when a murderer is nearby. It will also increase the damage dealt to creatures, as well as your effective barding, which will help reduce the amount you fail in your barding attempts and increase your buffs. Make sure and set up a proper overhead alert to alert yourself of PKs. If you don't know how, check out the video up in the top right of this video. 100 of whatever weapon skill you choose, which it is theorized today that swords is the greatest to start with due to the sword codex giving bonuses to accuracy. If you're missing, you're not doing damage. Although archery is a really good one as well, macing is good too. It's up to you, but most people will suggest to go with swordsmanship. 100 Chivalry. This is really great for a newer player. Make sure and take this as a starting skill so you start gaining it immediately and have a book in your possession. It gives you 2 heals, a haste buff, damage buff, bleed and poison nullifiers, and best of all though, a free rune book with all shrines, towns, dungeons, and every time you use it, you get a 5% damage increase just for going through that holy golden gate. Now, some things you're gonna wanna save some money up for is a bard codex, a sword codex, lyric aspect, skill balls, skill scrolls, and a mastery chain. For our next template, be warned. It'll be much more simple template with less to save up for and manage, but be honest with you, the life of a warrior is a struggle in the beginning. Much like other MMORPGs, the warrior is fully dependent upon the items and player progression systems that they achieve throughout their adventures. With that though, this is a force to be reckoned with as it gains in power. You guys know it as the Amish monk build, a up in the monster's face fighting brute force with brute force. This can be modified with any weapon skill you choose to leverage the desired content. 100 Anatomy. This will not only increase the damage output, but it will also reduce the damage taken from bleeds while increasing the amount we heal for and chance for our finishers as we gain in the weapon codex. 100 Tactics for, once again, you gotta do that damage with your weapon skill, right? 100 Swordsmanship. I once again am recommending swordsmanship starting out for the same reasons as stated earlier, but again, any weapon skill works. 100 Chivalry, same reasons stated earlier, the heals will come in clutch on this template for sure, as will the damage mitigation from Dispel Evil. 80 Arms Lore. This will give us more weapon special attacks and allow us to disarm, which will increase the damage dealt to the enemy. 80 Parrying. Defense is key for this template since we are our own defense. Carry a shield and welded well. 80 Healing. This is a fair amount of healing to keep ourselves alive, especially with chivalry and potions. This gives us 4 heals total. Magic resist at 80. Don't avoid spellcasters, as if you take hits from spells, you will now absorb them into your attacks. This also gives us some PK protection. 1v1 versus a regular inexperienced mage PK, you stand a decent fighting chance actually. Now some of the things you're going to want to save money for is a weapon codex, whichever weapon skill you chose, aspect of your choice, which earth for damage mitigation and fire for massive damage, skill balls, and mastery chain. Now for the final template, this is one where you summon creatures to be a meat shield and wreak havoc as you sit behind the line casting arcane destruction on your foes. This is going to require a little legwork in your agent department, but what I will explain to you afterwards should help and should be done for any and all templates as you train them. This is the Necro Summoner. The defensive abilities of the Earth Elementals will catapult you to stronger monsters before any other template. Starting from the top is 100 Eval Intelligence. This will increase the damage of our spells. 100 Hurting. This will increase the damage output of our summons. 100 Magery, since we will need 100 to make the summons, and also we want to maximize our spell damage. 100 Spirit Speak. Our summons are our meat shield and a substantial amount of damage. Spirit Speak will also help ensure the survivability of our elementals, which, like we've talked about, are the front line of our defense. 100 Tracking. Similar to the Bard build, this will give us a PK radar while increasing our spell damage. Some might actually switch this one out for camping to increase spell damage, the same as tracking, but also instead of the PK radar, give more carry weight. 100 Meditation is used to increase our mana regain. We can't really do much spell damage or summon without mana, and we're obviously going to be going through quite a bit of mana. 100 Necromancy. Now guys, Necromancy is just way too powerful to pass up. Once again, make sure this is a starting skill, so you start training it from day one with the book. This will give us more abilities to increase our spell damage. It'll give us undead summons, which will do more damage. Wither is a really cool ability which helps with mana when summoning or healing. And my personal favorite, Pain Spike, which I always get confused with another ability in a different game called Corpse Explosion, because that's exactly what you do. You take corpses of your enemies or friends and you explode them, and it just does massive amounts of destruction to all the creatures around them. Now, some of the things you're going to want to save money for is obviously reagents. Another trick here is the Averhide Wizard Satchel for training Magery. This will reduce the amount of reagents that you use while you're training up your Magery. You're going to want to get a Summoner's Tome, a Wizard Grimoire, Aspect, skill scrolls, skill balls, and a mastery chain eventually. Now, here's the big tip, guys. When you have your characters bashing on a battle trainer or macroing a skill up, keep in mind you have 3 accounts. So log into the second account and make a lumberjack or a miner. Check out JSON scripts for a great harvesting script and make some money. During the time you are macroing your skills up, you should be able to gather enough resources to sell for a great start to the items we talked about needing to save up for. And there you have it, folks. 3 different templates that you could get started on right at day one with little to no startup. Those things we talked about saving money up for, they're just that. Just save up the money and get a magic can, and then eventually you can progress into a much more advanced template. Guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. Shout out to the Patreons, the channel members, and you guys for liking this video, for discoverability for not just myself and this channel, but also UO Outlands as a whole. Make sure and check out the live streams most evenings at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, where we have a lot of fun, for sure. We really do, especially those whiskey Saturdays, let me tell you. If you have any questions over some of the other new player things, make sure and check out this playlist, as it is all the videos, which will probably include this one too, that I think a new player should watch. Guys, have a good one. I'll see you next time. Pwn Star Gaming out.